It's time for more Haunted Hospital, and I'm going to model this hospital bed. And the idea is to model these things and UV unwrap them and then sort of break them apart and have them strewn around the hallway. Alright, so this bed is very easy to make, so let's do this. I brought in my guy from the other scene. He's about 6 feet tall, so we'll use him as a little bit of a guide to make this bed. Okay, so here's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to create a plane. And let's bring this guy down a little bit. Okay. I'm going to scale this in the X. And let's center him a little bit more. I'm going to take these vertices and I'm going to extrude them up. And I'll just move the bed around a little bit. There, let's just do this. Okay, so this is going to come up. We're going to have a bar here, and we're going to come down over here, just past his feet, and we're going to extrude this up just a little bit, maybe halfway, or something like that. Around there. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to select these faces, and I want to get rid of them. So only faces for now. And then press 2 for edge selection and grab these edges, and we'll get rid of those edges. So have just the outline there. All right, press 1 for vertex selection, and now I want to bevel these and turn them into curves, sort of like pipes. So I'm going to do the top one first. Shift Control B. Doesn't matter if they're slightly different curves. 3, 4, 5. I want 5 there. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to grab these ones. Shift Control B again. I'll have 5. So round it like that. So now I'm going to grab these vertices here, and I'm going to bevel these as well, just making sure we don't collide with those ones. Shift Control B and pull. There we go. So it looks a little bit like a sled, doesn't it? Alright, so with that done, let's convert that now to a curve. Come over to the curve dialog box under geometry and pull this up, and I'm probably going to go for around, let's see, yeah, it's actually pretty good. 0.025, and I'll hit shade smooth. Alright, so we've got that. So now I'm going to do a side. So press 3 for the side, and let's go into edit mode. And we're going to take these and we're going to pull them just past the curve and those ones right around there, let's say. So, okay, let's scale this in the X. Bring it in and have these just on the outside. So we're going to get rid of these 2 vertices and just have those 2. And look from the side and extrude down, and imagine this goes down to where the wheels are going to be. Something like that. So X edges. So now I'm going to take just those 2 and Shift Control B to bevel them with 5. And actually, I think I want to bring this up. Let's go back to my diagram. Yeah, it's going to come up here. So we'll bring that up a little ways. We can extend these down if need be. So let's convert that to a curve. And I think this one's 0.025. Let's try the same and see if that looks good or if we have to make it smaller. I'll start with that, and because my 3D cursor is right there, I should be able to just mirror this across. Okay, that's what we're getting. That's looking okay so far. So let's see what's next. So we've got this one coming under and up. Yeah, these ones here. We do the middle part. Let's do the middle part. Okay, at this point, I think we're going to slide you off the bed, sir, and bring in a plane. Scale it down so it fits, or just maybe touches these bars, or maybe a little smaller. But we're going to lengthen it out, so I'm going to grab this edge and pull it up to, again, about the curve. And about the curve down there? Let's see, would you fit? Yeah, you fit. Okay, cool. Let's see. Let's bring this above and extrude it down below. And so we'll be sort of bolted through this bar here. Let's get rid of that face. So we have this. And now what we'll do is we'll look down from the top and press I to inset, pull it in to make that lip that would hold the mattress or the pieces of wood or whatever you want to put there for support. Something like that. I could actually come in a little bit more the more I think about it. So I'm going to press S to scale. I'll just do that. Okay, so that's my sort of frame. And I'm going to give it some thickness with Solidify. And that is not bad right there. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that. And I'm going to add a bevel. And I'll go for 3. And that's okay, I think probably like that. But I'm going to move it and just have it a little bit more central to there. Okay, so that would be in there. Although maybe this is a little bit high here. I don't know. Is it? Is it or isn't it? Nah, leave it. All right, but I do want to create something else. Now, if you look at the diagram, you'll see this sort of wire mesh. I may do this in Substance Painter, but I'm just going to show you it in the meantime. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab an edge or all those edges and Shift D, pull them up, P to break it out. So I've got that, and come in and have to make a face, and then I'm going to scale it. So there it pretty much fits in the Y and in the X. And then that would just, rest right on there. And to use the wireframe modifier, I'm going to subdivide this. So Control R and roll that up a few times. Let's say I'm going to be looking to make nice squares. So I'm adding edge loops, even around there, and then select it all, right click, subdivide, maybe one more time. That's good enough like that, okay? And then Control F, poke faces, Control F, tries to quads. Go back into object mode, and I'm going to get rid of the bevel. I might put it on if I was to use the wireframe modifier in the end. Put that on and just hold down Shift and just make this thinner. And you would get something like that. And they just try to make sure that it sort of rests on the metal. That looks pretty good. I do feel this is a bit too high. Well, maybe it isn't. I don't know. Let's back to that again. Not sure. How are we doing here? Anybody? Okay, good. So far, so good. I sort of went back and forth between whether I want to put just pieces of wood on here. I do want some wood on this. As you can maybe see from here, these are pieces of wood that I could tilt and break and stuff like that and have really old and stuff. So I'll do those pieces of wood and another piece of wood at the back there. So let's just do that. And to do that, can I just grab something? Is there anything here I can take that's got a bevel on it? So I might just take that piece of wood and slide it over here. P to break it out. Press the period key to zoom in on that and give this just a little bit of thickness like this. Let's say this. Slide it in, but I'll get rid of the ends there, so just focus on that and select that and this. And I think instead of the bevel modifier, I'm going to actually bevel this by hand. So I'm going to select it and then edge selection, Control B and pull. And I just want, there's the original 2 and 1 more. 3 edges like that. I'm not worrying about smoothing right now. So I'd have a piece here. And then I'm going to have maybe another piece there. Okay, like that. And this end really possibly should come up a bit higher. Let's see if I could still do that. If I was to, say, press C for circle select, paint select. Let's see how well this can come up. It's like that, but not as high as the front. Yeah, okay. And then we'll come in here and grab one of these, Control L and Shift D to duplicate and pull it back here. Let's look from the side. And we can go with a wireframe and we could position that pretty much in the middle and then just decide do I want it at the same level as the other one. I think that probably looks okay. And then underneath we're going to have some support as well, so we'll take one of these again, maybe this one, Control L, Shift D. I'm going to pull that down, and we're going to, let's look from the front. Let's just scale this in the X so it looks like it goes in. Bring it forward, but I'm not going to have it that wide. I'm going to make it narrower. So I'm going to pull that down like that. I'm doing it that way rather than just scaling it, so that'll keep the curvature. Something like this, and we'll have another one. I wonder, can I, let's break that out and see if I can mirror that. Let's P to break it out. Okay, get rid of this guy, I don't need him anymore. So I got that. My 3D cursor is there. Let's see how central that is. No, not quite. What can we take? Maybe this. Select that, Shift S, cursor to selected. I don't know if that'll do the job or not. Object, set origin to the 3D cursor. That didn't quite work, but I can go ahead and apply the mirror and then come in here and Control L and then just move him in a little bit. And it's pretty close. So we're gonna have that there, and then I want a cross piece. And again, like I said, I'm gonna break this apart eventually. So let's make sure we select him. Control Shift D, rotate Z 90. Pull that over. I think right now I'm going to just scale it. I'm going to scale it in the Z. I just want it a little bit thinner. I'm not worried about the curvature. I'm scaling such a small amount. I'll look from the side, go to wireframe and box select there. And pull that into, let's see, period key. Yeah, it did. I thought it was curved. Oh, geez. All this stuff is curved, huh? All right, well, we're going to have to fix some of that up. I don't know how that happened, but let's just rotate this. What if I Alt-R? Yeah, okay. That's good enough. It's not really a big deal. Maybe that'll add to the overall look. Okay, and are you guys all good? Yeah, okay. So we have that in there, and let's see what else we want. So that's up. That's this one down here actually. So let's see if we can bring that whole setup downwards near the wheels, and then I guess I had another one on the side. Let's grab a piece of this, Control L, Shift D, I'll bring it up and over, and use wireframe. Can I rotate you? All right, let's straighten you out a little bit. Okay. And then let's Shift D to duplicate, look from the front, go into wireframe and pull that in like that. Maybe I'll make those a little thicker. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, I don't know. All right, I'll select this one and this one, Control L, scale in the Z, just to make it a little bit different. Not worrying about the curvature in that case. Now, do I have another piece there? Yeah, I do actually. So I'll take, I'll come in here. These are all joined together, and I'll Shift D, rotate Z 90, and pull this back. look from the end and slide it in here. I can scale that in the X. Just make sure that I like the positioning of it. Do I need it at the front? I guess I do have it at the front as well. So I'll just duplicate it and pull it back. I think I will look from the side in wireframe and make sure that it looks like it's in place. Okay, so what am I missing here? Okay, so obviously I have the blanket, and then I have these things here that I might, attach chains or something to, seeing as it is a psychiatric hospital. So let's just do those and decide if I would keep them or not. And the way I would do that, just quite simply, is come into this arm curve, grab these 2 points that are on this straight piece, and Shift D, scale, P to break out, and then select that, and come into the curves, and just up the size of that a little bit, and maybe fill caps. Although really, if I'm going to convert that to a mesh, I wouldn't do it that way. I don't like the way it converts to a mesh. So I'm just going to scale that. And I'll put them down here, and I'll just duplicate them up here for now. I would fill those eventually, but they're there anyhow. All right, so there's the basic bed, and now the wheels. I mean, I could just steal the wheels from the other cart, but I'll go ahead and I'll make them anyhow. So it's so easy to do. So I'm just going to find one of these points down at the bottom, and okay, I'm just looking at the thickness. I may not like that thick; it might be too thick, but you could decide for yourself. I'll bring the 3D cursor there, and actually, I'm going to do the same thing I did a minute ago. I'm going to grab this part of the straight part, Shift D, scale, P to break it out, take that piece, pull that down. I'll make this a little wider, and I'm going to pull that down here, and I'm going to convert that to a mesh, and we'll use it. So in the curve dialog box up here, I don't want a resolution of 12, I want maybe 3. When I convert that to, let's get rid of the mirror on here. Yeah, so we're going to convert this to a mesh, and there it is. And then I'm going to Shift Alt and click that edge, E and S. I'm going to pull that in. I'm going to bevel this, Control B, and just have one segment in there. And then I'm going to flare this out just a little bit. 3D cursor is still pretty close. I'll mirror that later. So what I'll do now is I'm going to bring in a, should I do this right now? Yeah, I'll just do this part right now. A plane, and I'm going to look from the end. Is that the end? Yeah, that's the end. And get the approximate width that I would want. Scale that in the X, and I'm going to scale it in the Y. All right, we'll start with that. Grab these 2 edges here on the sides, E, and pull them down. I'm going to scale this in the Y right now, and I'm going to push them this way. I don't want to go that way. No, I'll go this way. No, I'll go this way. Okay, now I want to look at this and just adjust it. I want it too much bigger than that circle. But I do think they probably will need to be a bit longer. Go down to the center of the wheels. I'm going to leave that there for the moment, and I'm going to bring in a circle. I will put a subdivision on it, so I'm just going to go for 16. You know, you're not going to see these too close. I'm going to rotate Y 90 and pull that down and just get a sense for the size of the wheels. Alright, so pull this out a bit. And let's see. Let's go E and S and pull that in. And let's extrude. No, let's not do that. Let's bring it in like this. And bring it in like this and F, just fill it like that. Take this edge and pull it in, and then maybe a bit more. And then we'll take the whole thing, Shift D or rotate Z 180, and pull it out and get the approximate width of the wheel that I would want. And then I'm going to take that edge and Control E bridge edge loops. And now I'm actually going to dissolve those edges, get rid of them. We're going to put some other edges in a bit. That might be a bit too wide, but it'll shrink down with a subdivision on it anyhow. So let's Shift Alt and click those edges and Control B. Just put one, select here, and bevel that, same thing. And Control 1, shade smooth. And some people like a rounder wheel, so let's see if I scale that down. I'll go in, eh? Let's scale in the X. Let's do that. That's fine with me. Nah, I don't know. What if I get rid of these? Okay, so do a wheel like that. I might scale in the X a bit. So if that's there, look from the side now. What I would really do is I would pull it out, and then this I would I shouldn't have deselected those. I look from the side. I'm just going to pull this down like about that. All right, so let's give this some thickness now. Let's go in though, but let's first Alt N recalculate outside, just in case. And E and Alt S, you could do it that way, or you can do solidify if you prefer. You might get a straighter jump, but that's probably fine. Shift Alt and click this edge and this one, bevel that, Control B, do something like that. Maybe even roll up if you want to. I think from there I'll put on a bevel and shade smooth. I'm going to be joining a lot of this, so some of these modifiers won't matter in the end. I'm putting on a weighted normal, and normal's auto smooth. Okay, so I have that. So then maybe this piece could come up and do that, and actually maybe I could scale Shift Z that a bit so it fits. And then I'll come down, I'll just leave the 3D cursor there. I'll bring in a cylinder for like a bolt in between. Just make it like, I don't know, even 14 vertices. You know? Rotate Y90. Bring it down. Now we're going to have to do a bit of work on this. Let's go into wireframe. And position in the middle and scale it down to about the size that I'd want. And then I'll scale it in the X till it pokes through. And it might even still be too big. And then take the faces here on the ends and Control B and pull back to around it like that, and shade smooth. So it gives the impression of that. Now that's actually not in the middle, so I need to move the wheel up a bit. Around there. Around there. And that's how I would do that. Let's save. Now, I think what I'll do, because I'm going to unwrap with my modifiers applied, at least subdivision, so I'm going to apply that. And then I'm going to grab all of this stuff and Control J. And then it'll freak out and say, hey, where did my weighted normal and auto smooth go? And there it is. Okay, so I have that as one piece, so I can mirror that. So let's see what I can mirror around. This thing probably. Shift S, cursor to selected, and then set the origin to the 3D cursor. And now I should be able to mirror. I get one there. Will I get one at the back in the right place? Not quite in the right place. So I'll go ahead and apply the mirror, come in and just select box select like this, and Control L, make sure I got it all, and I'll just slide these forward a tiny bit, and I'll have that. And really I'll probably just get rid of all of them except for one and unwrap it, and you know, and then copy it again. But in the meantime, and then what I could do is I could go in here and I could, if I wanted to say turn one, so it looks kind of cool, bring the 3D cursor somewhere kind of central on this one. Switch over to 3D cursor so my pivot is there, and then go in, because they're all part of the same object, and Control L, and then just rotate in the Z and just turn it a little bit. If that was something you wanted to do, you can do that with all the wheels. Let's just have a look and see if there's anybody who's flipped all these wheels. So I'm going to select everything, Alt-N, recalculate outside. So everything is good again. And then we'll just look and see what I'm missing. Other than the cloth, I think I'll do the cloth another time. I'm finding that these look a little bit too spindly for me. So I'm going to come in and select little bits of all of this stuff around here. I think I'm going to like that better, if I even keep that. We'll see. We will see. Let's switch over to something else. There, that looks better. All right, so what do we got going on here, and what do we need? Is there anything that we still need other than the blanket? The wheels, those bars, that stuff. It could be just that these bars are a little thick for my liking, so you could decide. Sometimes the side ones aren't as thick, so you could do something like that, and it still works. Even this is looking a little bit thick to me. Maybe I would drop that to 24. And then just I would look. Now, you know, if I'm going to unwrap this at some point, I would convert that. So I could look at that. I would come up to here, and I would probably do 4, and then convert that to a mesh, and that's okay. Well, that's not too bad there. I could do that for all these ones, I guess. Let's apply, oops. And again, I might do just one bar and not both of them. I'll go ahead and apply the mirrors as if we're keeping that. And, hang on. Let's convert that to 4. And the mirror will go as I do this anyhow. Okay, so I now have that as a mesh. I'll do these things here. Okay, I'll convert that maybe just to 3 and convert to mesh. Now that actually gives me a whole bunch of pieces, and I have to do them all by hand, but just to show you what I could mirror, I suppose, so I'll get rid of these ones. Control L, X, vertices. In fact, I'll get rid of this one too. Let's just do it one time, and then we'll copy it around. All right, so all I want to do here is actually, I don't want it that wide, is, let's see. You could just go F. You really could. F, and then grab these faces. That wouldn't matter too much, and Control B. And just have maybe one segment in there. And do it like that. Okay, so mesh. It's all mesh and joined. That's the wireframe. These are just pieces of wood. Again, even if I don't really like this design that much, I'm going to have some of these broken off and split, and so it'll be okay. And just pieces of wood. So that there is the bed. All right. So what I'll do is I'll come back, I'll do the blanket at some point, and once we get to texturing, we'll decide if we're using a wireframe thing like that, or if I'm doing it in Substance Painter, or if I'm going to put planks of wood, or if I'm going to get rid of the whole thing and just have it broken. So we will see. So that's it. Cool. So we're moving along. See you in the next video.